weird.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Wausau County Council to order. If we would please stand for the invocation. Tonight, invocation is given by Reverend Ronnie Hagan, pastor of Christian Haven Church. Please remain standing for the pledge of allegiance, which will be led by Mr. Paul Gooding tonight.
Thank y'all for serving our little town here. Father, thank you for this little town. Thank you for this country and this nation. We ask that you'll bless it, and we'll be grateful for that. Bless the decisions tonight, and we'll be grateful for that. And I thank you, Lord, for all of this that you do for us. And it's in Jesus' name I ask. Amen.
Amen. Please join with me as we come to attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Okay, I love you. Recognize, call me for sons.
Certainly welcome to stay, but if you have to leave, we understand. Everyone has had an opportunity to look at your minutes, financial statements, etc. Fire department minutes are still missing.
I contacted her, but she didn't send me.
Okay. Maybe we need to contact the chief and see if he can help us with that and make sure that's not made a habit if we can. Okay, having looked at the package, what's the pleasure of council on the consent agenda?
I make a motion, we accept it.
Have a motion to approve, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second, any discussion on the motion? How you vote, Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Walksnail?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay, that brings us down to our public hearing tonight for land use change on 2673 Jefferson Street, and we have Ms. Dawn McDonald with us tonight, the county's planner, and the city's planner as well, and she's going to make a presentation. Well, let's see. Let me. I'm supposed to do something else. We're going to recess our meeting now, and we open our public hearing now.
Good evening. Tonight I'm here as your planner, and the proposal is for a future land use map amendment. It's a small scale, so it's less than 100 acres in size. And the change is needed to allow for future commercial uses on the property, and that is the plan for the future. And so this parcel is located at 2673 Jefferson Street, and it's surrounded by Japan Avenue, Jefferson Street, Buster Rogers, but it faces Washington Street. So commercial uses would be appropriate in this location. So the change is from residential medium 1, which would allow residential uses, but the proposal is for general commercial for the site. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have. We don't have a development plan at this time, but the first step would be the land use change, to have the land use be appropriate for commercial uses in the future.
First is 2673.
That's going to be the one on the across from the ball field. And that's probably a question, why is it addressed off of a back street and not off of Washington Street?
You know, that may change.
It's one in front, I'm sure, on Washington Street.
Well, and there hasn't been an official submittal yet for development review, but the applicant did provide a sample or a concept plan, and the access would be on Buster Rogers. And so it's Buster Rogers, so there is the city-owned property just to the north, the house. And that could be a public use more than likely in the future. And then you have the park to the west. To the south, there's some residential. And I did hear from a couple of the residents there. And they weren't opposed to the proposal, but having the entrance on Buster Rogers would be more, I think they would be advocates for that, because, you know, we want to try to limit impacts to the residential areas. But then across the street, you've got a church and other commercial uses along the corridor, which we'll probably see more of that. We're seeing more of that near Sunny Hills and to the south of the county.
And ma'am, I'm the engineer on the project, and I actually have a layout of the potential for what's going to go there.
Do you have enough?
Yes, ma'am, I have that plan. If y'all have any questions, I could answer any other ones if you have any.
I think my question on the address, that's not really our concern, 911 or when you get down to the development where you would do that. I do agree with the residents on the south that the Buster Rogers is probably going to be the more, and that looks like what you've done, would be
Yes.
more, I can't speak for DOT, but it would seem like it would be hard for them to want to grant a driveway between Buster Rogers and Japan and then put a third entrance off of Washington Street.
DOT normally does not like to do that.
Yeah.
It's too close in proximity to other entrances and other roads. So they would probably require us to put it on either Buster or Japan Avenue.
I think that would be a better one for exiting anyway, because it will make you come out and come to a full stop before you pull out on Highway 77.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry, maybe Ms. McDonald, I should have said, we all know where this is. This is the piece down here that we was asked last month about, Tommy did two things. His was on a piece of property across the street. This is the one down there next to Miss Edna Tiller's place.
If you, on the third sheet on this is the existing conditions. So it shows you what's existing currently there. There's some mobile homes, one-story wood frame residences on the corner of Japan Avenue and Washington Street.
All of those be destroyed?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they'll be destroyed, they'll be removed.
Be a good time for our historical society to be up and going. And that house, that big blue house there, it's been there since the moon was that big around.
Yes, sir.
A long time. A lot of history there. Any questions on the council? And I'm sorry, your name was
Jesse Mitchell
Mitchell, yeah.
with Advanced Engineering
Right.
Services.
Any questions for Mr. Mitchell?
Everything on that whole block will be gone.
It will be gone, and that is now zoned for residential uses. And what they're asking us to do is change that zoning from residential to commercial. And if you read your package from the planning, it says general commercial, which would include offices and stores or barber shop, I suppose, just anything that we're doing a commercial thing. And I know that for the longest time that when development's beginning to take place, we try to keep it under wraps so you know that things are going to come along and like that. So we none know what's going to go there, but as the remedial turns, we've been made to believe it may be something between a convenience store and a department store, maybe a grocery outlet kind of thing. Had some questions, and we've asked Mr. Carter, and he can maybe help us again tonight. about alcohol sales. We've had some questions in the community about if it was going to be allowed there, if it was going to be something that was going to be taking place there. And of course, we can't answer those questions because we're not privy to that.
Yes, sir. I could let the developer speak to that.
Yeah.
Mr. Walker, yes.
Yeah, any prospective tenant that would be in the building itself would be the ones that subject to applying for the permitted use of sales. So it would be more of an in-use item for that tenant to take up. And so at this time, it's really it wouldn't necessarily be up to us as a developer, so we couldn't necessarily speak to it. But they would, at the time of their, coming in, they would then be applying in preparation for moving in, and it would be between, I guess, the town and the applicant.
Okay. We understand what he's saying to us.
Yeah, does the church it being close to the church have anything to do with it?
We think it,
Sure.
we
We
think
would later, but not at this stage for the purposes of this hearing.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. This is
I
just
thought
for
that it
the,
had to be 500 feet away from the church.
I think what Mr. Walker is
I
saying
have
to
my
us.
real estate license.
I think what Mr. Walker is saying to us is that they're only here to get this changed.
Right.
exactly
Correct.
They're not gonna start.
that's the
breaking-
only purpose of
They're
this
not gonna
this
start breaking
hearing.
ground right away. They gotta go through a whole bunch of other things, including more visits with Miss McDonald and the group is called the Development Committee, or whatever we call it now. And then if they approve it, if they approve construction, then whoever's going to build and whatever they're going to build would have to determine at that time. We were asked because everybody's got concerned up front.
Sure.
But I think what he's saying is that somewhere down the line, this may be a new thing. If a barber shop or a bakery goes in there, it might be a new thing. But if it's
Tom,
Dollar General Store, Family Dollar Store, any other kind of retail outlet that could sell alcohol, then it's going to be up to them to apply, go through whatever the alcohol rules would be at that time. Yeah. I had a question for you, Mr. Carter, and years ago, and many times I use that as a point of reference more than anything else. We were told that if the city doesn't if we don't have law enforcement, the county is our law enforcement. If we don't have an animal control ordinance for that, if we did have an alcohol, then the county's alcoholic beverage license or ordinance would prevail.
Yes, sir.
Do you agree with that?
I do.
And if that was the case, then I think the question or the response we had here, and I'm sorry.
500 yards from a church. Rebecca Mizell.
No, I was trying to think of your name.
Rebecca.
Okay, Miss Rebecca said that the 500 feet, that is in the ordinance.
500 yards, excuse me.
No, I think it's feet.
Okay.
Yeah, 500 feet would prevent that, and that probably then would become a moot point if, in fact, that's what it is.
Correct.
Yes, sir. I agree. Yeah.
In a phone conversation some few months ago, were you here or was it Margaret? I think before Margaret left, we had a conversation with a person who was a representative or was part of the development group, and he did not tell us what business was going there or anything like that. But he did say that he didn't think at that time that an alcoholic beverage license would make or break something going there anyway. So I don't know if that means they don't intend to, or if they can build their facility without that, if they have them in other places and things like that. I don't know if you can address that conversation.
Yeah, correct. I wouldn't be able to speak towards it. It would be completely up to them at that point.
Yeah.
So y'all just here to get this approved?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve that.
Let me.
Okay, go ahead. Go
Let me,
ahead.
let me ask Ms. McDonald
Okay.
something. And I don't think we have to close the public hearing, we had to do something else before we can make a
Okay,
motion, okay? Ms. McDonald, I believe that we were told that we could approve this and we can approve it with conditions,
Not the land use.
okay?
Mr. Hagan. My recommendation would be for approval of the land use change. The development order conditions would be included in your development review application.
Okay. Will that come back to us? Will that
Yes,
come back
sir.
to the council?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody in the audience, this is a public hearing for a land use change. Anybody in the audience want to address the issue of the public hearing on the land use change on 20, whatever the address is, 2673 Jefferson Street? Anyone in the audience want to ask a question or make a comment concerning this? This is a public hearing. Yes, sir. Give us your name and
My name's Rick Patchett. Been here in Washington County all my life. My mother's family's been here since 1865. We still own the original section that Theodore Roosevelt wrote us a patent for. So we're deep-rooted Washington County, and
yeah.
that's what we are. I'd like to address the home up there. I'm prepared to take it down, and I'm gonna move it to another location on 79 that I have. The 1910 home. Yes, sir. And I've got a crew set up to take it down, and we'll be moving it as soon as Mr. Walker and them get this completed.
That's wonderful.
Yes,
That's
that's
the
it.
wooden home that we sell here.
We can set it in place. That's
That's
wonderful.
right.
That's wonderful. That's great. Anybody else want to address the issue, the land use issue? Anybody on the council want to address the land use issue or questions for the developers or Ms. McDonald? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. For the sake of those that may have to travel, can we go right straight now and act on what we're talking about now? We can do that, can't we, Mr. Attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I believe that's actually the first thing under the clerks. You want to address anything?
No, go ahead.
Okay. The request on, under the clerks, on the agenda, under the clerks, heading there, that first thing is the approval of application for amendment for the future land use. This has gone through two hearings, one with the public hearings with the county planning commission. There was a neighborhood meeting that was held, all this says it's in your packet, there was a neighborhood meeting that was held, and there was no objections as I understand. The only concerns that was raised at any time, as I understand, was the south, and that could be handled by screening or something down the road as well. With all those things and what we just discussed, I think now, Mr. Walksam, you want to make a motion.
I'll make a motion, we allow them to change in
The land
land use. Yeah.
We have a motion to change land use classification to permit that to be done. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? How you vote, Mr. Walksam?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Gentlemen, I think that's what you came for. And you're welcome to stay. I didn't mean that like leave now. I didn't mean that like leave now, but I don't know where you got to go to. But you're welcome to stay with us. Ricky, it's good to see you again. I just needed you to just give your name for the record. I think most of us know who you were.
Yeah,
but-
Richard Badgett's the name,
Yeah,
the technical name, but Rockefelle's known me all my life, I've always been Ricky.
It's always been.
We appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming. Thank you for coming. Ms. McDonald, is there anything else you'd like to say to us tonight?
Oh, yes.
Okay, then you're welcome to stay as well, and we're just going to move on with our agenda, okay?
So now, do we need to read the ordinance or we just sign the ordinance?
First reading, second reading for it.
You don't have to read it tonight.
Okay.
We just introduced it tonight, and they have to be advertised and do all the things that has to be done, okay? All right. Then, Madam Clerk, we're
Go back to these papers.
Mr. Cruz,
Sir,
we're so glad to see you tonight.
glad to see y'all.
While we're shuffling papers, would you like to address the council or the audience?
No, just glad to see y'all. I apologize, a million phone calls, I'll probably have to leave again, and sitting here running through a few emails trying to catch up. And, good to be here, good to see everybody.
It's always good to have you with us.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Somehow my animal ordinance has gone missing.
I have a copy right here if you need it.
Yep, mine has gone.
Pass it down.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Agenda says this is the first reading. This will actually be the second reading of the ordinance 2023-03. And it's an ordinance repealing the Town of Wausau Ordinance 15-001, Section 5, dealing with the registration and licensing of animals and any other ordinance which requires registration of animals by the Town of Wausau. Be it enacted by the Town Council of Wausau, whereas the Town of Wausau is empowered to provide for the health, safety, welfare, and infrastructure for the citizens of Wausau, Florida. And whereas the Town Council of the Town of Wausau has determined that it's in the public interest to repeal so much of Ordinance 15-001, Section 5, Code of Ordinances dealing with the registration and licensing of animals. And whereas the Town Council of the Town of Wausau, Florida, therefore proposes to repeal said ordinances provided therein, now therefore it be ordained by the Town Council of the Town of Wausau, Florida as follows. Ordinance 15-001, Section 5, insofar as it requires the registration of dogs, cats, and other animals, is hereby repealed. The ordinance shall take effect immediately upon its passage, approval, and publication as provided by law. And then next meeting, we'll have the hearing on it.
Okay.
I think that's all we needed to do with that. The next section is garbage bill and new.
Let me go back to that just a minute. I think we keep that around a lot and all like that. There's one thing that occurred to me after we all probably decided we need to do that. You know, with registration, everybody gets a tag. And if that dog or cat's picked up or something like that, we know who to return it to or who to charge or something like that. Without this, all those costs are going to come to us if we don't know how to get in touch with somebody. We need to bear that in mind. That cost is going to be on the city. Pay for dogs and cats to be picked up and taken to the county and later disposed of or adopted or whatever might happen to them. If we had that tag, I could say, hey Billy, we got your dog over here, come get him. Without that tag, we won't have it. Thank you, go ahead.
The next thing is a bill adjustment. It's for customer at 3536A Washington Street. This is the line that burst about a month ago. It's right up in the middle of town, directly across from the Assembly of God Church. He hit a water line and we could not find any cutoff to it. We turned off the water in the entire city block. It continued to spray. And so I call it the water line to nowhere. But it did eventually show up on his meter reading, although we had his meter turned off the entire time. It took about a little over a day to fix it, to get the right parts. And so he wanted me to come to the council and ask, will the council adjust the bill down to the regular rate? You'll see that he never, hardly ever goes over his water. It's just a single guy and his child. But because of that leak, which we could not turn the water off, it was a $393.29 bill. So I'm not sure where the cutoff is or if there is a cutoff. I don't know where the line goes to, but I had Dallas Carter came out, Ferguson came out, David Ferguson came out to look at it to see if they could help me find it. We could find no cutoff anywhere. We think it goes to the main water line and for some reason does not have a cutoff. So he's asking for an adjustment on that bill back to his normal $67.41 bill.
There was no cutoff, right?
No.
Is that correct?
I even called Mr. Register. Mr. Register came out. We could find no cutoff.
And the water kept running even though the meter was cut off?
Yes, we cut off the meters in the entire block. None of them cut the water off.
How did the water get through the meter?
I have no idea. I have no idea. It's the
If
craziest.
your meter's here and the leak is out here someplace,
The
and you can't cut it off, it's gonna keep leaking out here, but unless he's got water running on this side, the meter, it's not gonna go through that meter.
The pipe ran between the Greedle's old shop and that, what is that, a garage?
Yeah.
It ran right down between those two places, and there's 2 meters out there. Both of them were turned off, and the water continued to spew as high as the house. And we eventually fixed the leak with that same water pressure on there, and eventually got it fixed. But nothing we could turn would turn that water off.
Was it a bad meter there?
No, after we fixed the leak and turned his water back on in his house, the meter started going again. I don't know what it is.
I'm not yet understanding something. When you turn the meter off, it quits spinning,
Yes,
but yet there was $392 worth of water. went
yes,
through
the
that.
water continued to spew up as high as the building.
How does it get registered? How does,
I have no idea. We didn't even know it until he came up, when he got his water bill, and it showed $393. And he said, "You were there. You know we turned that water off." And I'm like, I know we did. But somehow it got 54,000 gallons of water.
where was the leak in relation to the meter?
The meter's here, the pipe was over here. His meter to his house is here. The meter to the cafe, or the building's over here. This line runs right down between them. I don't know how it went. I don't know. We looked everywhere. We turned off everybody in the neighborhood, but the water continued to spew.
And we checked that meter for the reading? We know that the reading is?
Yes, we went back and manually looked at the reading, and it did show 54,850 gallons.
Is this the same man that had a problem over at the south end of town
No.
a few months ago from Sunny Hills?
Mm-mm. This is the father, that counts in the father's name. This is the son that's living there.
Okay.
I don't know. We had a meeting with DOT yesterday about water lines, and I talked to them about that, because I said, when you run those things, you're going to find a pipe down there that does not have a cutoff.
Mr. Mayor, do you remember who did these, if I may, do you remember who did these plans? Do you know who put in the water line? The reason I ask
I don't
is,
know.
Mixer was the engineers on it.
the reason I ask is maybe there's as-bills. Because my next question would be, what size pipe was it that y'all fixed that was leaking?
We pulled out the as-built things. It does not show it. Does not show it.
What size pipe was it that was replaced that was?
I think they said 3/4 inch, because he went to get some kind of thing for it was a white pipe.
It was small. When you said that much gallons, I was thinking,
Yeah.
This is at least the second time with this installation that we have now this happened. Jimbo spent probably a week down there just outside the fence at the Possum Palace, outside the ball field there, digging hole after hole after hole trying to find it. And that's why they just found some lines out there. They found lines on side by side. The one should have been discontinued once the new system was in. You remember that, John?
No, I don't remember that, but I understand that.
It was left in and apparently left charged.
Right.
That's the one that hit Cliff.
We do have some old that was not disconnected, that there's water still running through.
And I didn't mean to apologize. I was just
Yeah.
Yeah.
throwing out where the as-bills might be. If it was maybe us, if it was Cliff back when,
Yeah.
I would go find as-bills and we'll figure where that pipe's going.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
It's
That
almost,
may be something, you may see something on those as-bills that we don't see. I'd appreciate if you take a look at anything that's there.
if you have.
Because we don't get that
I have
happen
them.
a few
Because I just wonder,
times.
I mean, there's no way that was hot tapped and you run after the fact, because
Now, if that water's still running through those pipes, even though they're abandoned or whatever, a cutoff ought to be able to be put somewhere.
We put a cutoff in the fixing of it, so it does have a cutoff now. It did not have a cutoff then. but
It's cut off where that problem was. But
Right.
that water either come from over here or over here to get there, so it's still, if it ain't cut off from in the main
it's not cut off at the main, I'm sure.
somewhere.
It's not. But I don't know where it goes to. We couldn't find any way to cut it off. And I don't know how it ran through his meter.
That's probably the biggest mystery to me of all right now. We know we've got some lines that are still charged but not functional probably, or supposed to be, but how that water got through his meter.
I don't know.
If it's broken, it ought to just spew up, which you said it did.
It spewed up way past the meter, way past where his meter was, and none of the meters would turn it off.
That water couldn't force its way through there. I mean, we cut a meter off and it couldn't force its way through that meter, make that meter spin.
Like I said, at one time I had Mr. Register, Dallas Carter, David Ferguson, me, Joe, John out there trying to figure out how to cut the water off. We could not get it off.
So this was read on the 21st of December.
Right.
Have we read it for January now?
We just read yesterday, so I don't have
You
it.
don't know what that,
But it's not spinning like a leak. Since that day, when we left, we turned the water back on, it's not spinning as a leak. Had I not been there, I wouldn't have believed it.
well, I wasn't there, so I see what I'm believing. I see in the past where there's been 2 or 3 times where he had $100, but nothing. Okay, Ms. Gothard is not asking us to figure out what happened here, she's just asking us, can we adjust the bill?
Should we find out if it's supposed to be on an abandoned line where the leak was at? That's probably what we need to find out. If it was on an abandoned line, he's probably not responsible for it, is that right?
Yeah. And we may find that out as the DOT comes through here, because they're pulling the lines there right now. I just made them aware of it yesterday in a meeting we had, because I said, you won't find that on the schematic, or I don't know what y'all call it, the plans, but I'm telling you it's there.
Well,
We know it is.
I'm gonna just make this, would it be okay to postpone till we find out this and put it on the next meeting? Till we find out really what happened? Cause you can't, we gotta get out of adjusting people's water bill. I mean, if it's our fault, the town's fault, that's fine. But if it's on their side of the house, it's something that we need to quit doing. That's just me. I mean, I'm just one person. But
I think we've agreed with you and maybe still do. If
Well,
it's our fault, that's one thing.
yeah, if it's our fault, but we can find out by the next meeting, right? Would that be right? But I'm one person now, the other people sitting around here, but I don't
Mr.
mind
Park.
voicing my opinion, but I mean, that's about it.
Mr. Park, say again what you did, if it's on an abandoned line.
Yeah.
If it's on an abandoned line, then it's our responsibility. If it's on the new line, then he's responsible for it.
Well, if
An
it's
abandoned
on,
line, it's not on the schematics.
but if it's on an abandoned line, we've been billing him for all these years, he's been on that same line all the time.
But an abandoned line shouldn't be charged. I mean,
Yeah.
If I heard that, and who that be, I'd be him, want you to refund me all those years I have paid for an abandoned line. I don't think we want to go for that.
Let me see what I can find out, I'll bring it back.
Is that what Mr. Walksnapp says, that acceptable to everybody?
Yeah.
yes.
And
Find out more about it.
And, And
Something ain't right.
could we also add to that, that she will make a note that this is not gonna go in delinquent, cut off,
Right, real,
extra
sure,
charge and
sure.
till we know.
Yeah, it would not,
Okay,
yeah.
We won't penalize him till we know, but I do agree with both of you that, if it's our fault, it's.
The next one is the garbage bill.
Can I interrupt you again? I am so sorry. Our agenda says that we go to the unattended audience next, and I know that we do have one person here. who-
Okay.
And she may want to get home before the rain. Ms. Mizell?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Ms. Rebecca Mizell?
Yes,
please-
sir.
Please come and address the council.
Can I just sit? I'm kind of nervous.
Okay, just talk loud.
I will. Back last summer, I got permission and the board passed me starting a women's support group. Well, I was gonna start it in August, come about July, my mom got real needy, I've been taking care of her. And my brother had bladder cancer and appendicitis, and I was taking him to Dothan and Birmingham. And I just couldn't see me stretching myself that far. So I told her I was gonna have to postpone for a while. My mom passed away in October, and my sisters volunteered to stand in with my brother. So if it's all right with you guys, I would like to start it back. March 11th will be the first, March 11th and 14th will be the first week. The 18th, I know there's voting, so we won't be able to do that. And I've checked it with the office, she says it's still open. And that's about it.
I remember someone coming and asking about the support.
Yes.
About place to meet. Would you just please refresh, we've all had lots of things since August.
I understand. I had a friend of mine who was talking about suicide, and I realized there weren't any resources in this area for anybody like that to talk to. So I was talking to my uncle about it, and he said, well, a support group is really good. And I could do that. So anyway, I came and asked. I've got, March 10th, I'll have 30 years sobriety. I've had years of counseling and study and all kinds of experience. I'm not going to give my advice or anything, just let people share what they want to share, and just listen, and we'll support each other, no matter what, not alcohol or anything specific, just everything, or anything. And probably have donuts and coffee. I'll bring the donuts. The lady in the office said we could use the coffee here if we need to reimburse you. I understand that. Probably a couple dozen donuts, what my uncle suggests. And I'm sure we won't use them all. So on Mondays and Thursdays afternoon, they'll be here. But, yeah. And I got a friend of mine, Tiffany Sanders, who's going to help me.
Congratulations on your 30-year anniversary.
Thank you, sir.
Are you credentialed in any way?
I was taking, no, I'm not credentialed in any way. I was taking a course online, a Christian, some kind of I can't remember it now. A Christian, Christian helper. And you go by, you work out of a church, and you witness to the people and stuff like that. And I thought, this isn't going to work. So I stopped taking it, because I may be able to witness to some, but I'm not going to do it because of church and state. And I want to make that clear. But I am saved. I believe in God with all my heart and Jesus. And I was praying about it because I got a little scared and wondered if me start a support group? Oh my goodness, what am I thinking? And I prayed and prayed and prayed about it. And then I seen on a preaching show on YouTube or somewhere, and the guy started talking about how important it is to have support groups and fellowship. And I said, okay, Lord, let's go. But anyway, that's my story.
Have you searched back any minutes to see what what we did. Do y'all remember Ms. Mizell coming some months ago? Yeah, okay.
I was here tonight too.
Yeah.
Sir, yeah, I thought that,
What time would y'all be meeting? On Mondays and Thursdays, 11 until noon.
Just an hour?
Yes, sir.
not to presume to speak for you, but I think your advice was, we're just letting them have a building.
Yes, sir, just as a community group.
Yes, as any
With
community group.
no oversight or condoning or not condoning anything that's going on, or
Right.
providing any resources or
endorse.
counseling.
Right.
It's just a community group as far as the cities or the town is concerned.
We're not endorsing, as a body, we're not endorsing, and, we're relieving ourselves of liability.
I understand that, and I want that.
Okay. Should we take another vote as long as it's been?
You really don't have to, it's only
Okay.
been, 7 months? Well, it was August, wasn't it?
Yeah, about six
months.
6 months.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it, my mom had to convert
That's,
to
yeah.
Oh, sure, sure.
Did she talk to you or Marcy?
She might have talked to Marcy, I haven't spoken.
Yeah, I did, I talked to Marty.
Okay, so you want to start in March?
March 11th
Okay.
and 14th the first week, and then the next week, the 18th, is gonna be voting, so we won't be able to do it.
Okay, all right, so, as long as you coordinate with the office.
Yes, sir.
And if there is a need that the city has for the city hall on any of those days or any of your dates that you're going to meet, we'd have to, of course, have the precedence over
Yes.
use of it.
Okay,
Okay, is that acceptable to everybody? Okay, good luck.
great, thank you very much. Is the library still open?
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank
The
you.
the next one is a garbage bill, account number 180. If you remember last month, we had 2 customers that do not want the garbage, and the town had picked up their can at some point. Ms. Reitenberg asked us to go back and see if we could find when we picked up the can, and it says garbage bill on the top of it. This should be under bill adjustments. We did find them. The first one is the account number 180. We had picked up his can 2 months prior to the last meeting. And so if the council wants to, we can adjust his for $43.60. So he'll still owe $320.98 is the adjustment for the 2 months that we picked up the can.
Well, if you picked up the can, well, I'm talking too much, but if you picked up the can, you need to adjust that, you know, if he didn't have a garbage can out there, I mean.
So his would be adjusted $43.60. He still doesn't have a can because he says he's not going to pay for the garbage, so we still have the cans. We haven't billed him. Again, what's he doing with his garbage?
I don't know.
Taking it to the landfill himself?
I don't know.
Here we go, Mr. Carter. Historically, the county passed a mandatory garbage thing. That got amended over the years until it was not mandatory garbage pickup. It was mandatory that you use a franchise hauler if you didn't. That's in the unincorporated areas. West Traco was the hauler, Mr. Tommy Carter was the contractor with West Traco. And the county lost a lawsuit in that because we did not enforce our contract on mandatory hauler and all like that. And what happened, they wound up a bunch of small claims against properties and some things like that. That's a long process. I think Tommy's still collecting some once in a while. When they sell that property, you can collect it. I don't know that I recall, we'd really have to check in. I don't know that I recall what we did. But I think our contract with Waste Management says that we will, or we said that we would, or it permits us that they will bill us one bill and that we will pay that, but we will collect it, and the way that we had to collect it was on the water bill. Does that sound historically like I'm right so far? So absent an ordinance or anything that says we have a mandatory pickup inside the city limits, we just been lucky, haven't we?
Yes, sir. Because we've been enforcing it with the water bill, right? With the
We
water
have.
service.
We have,
Yes, sir.
and you're probably gonna tell us that absent.
Me and Ms. Goffin had already discussed that a couple weeks ago. Yes, sir.
So do we need to pass an ordinance that makes it mandatory?
I don't think that's constitutional to do it that way.
Okay,
And if somebody threw a flag, now, yes, you can. The answer is, yes, you can pass any ordinance you want to, but it may not survive a challenge. Somebody wanted to throw a flag and file a lawsuit on it. Kind of like that noise ordinance issue that we talked about with the decibel meters and all the parameters that are involved in enforcing it. But you can absolutely give it a shot.
there are jurisdictions that have some, aren't they, that have mandatory pickups and,
Oh, there are, yes, sir. I haven't worked with them, but I'm aware that there are.
yeah.
I'd have to look at their rules.
And
We'll
so
have
they're
it
just,
works.
they're just kinda out there also,
I think-
waiting for a challenge.
I don't think it's constitutional. I don't. To hinge one service on another because it's two separate services. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I could be wrong. And I'll be happy to look at it further.
In other words, if we did that, we're still going to have to enforce that as a standalone.
That will be the cleanest and most certain way to do it.
It was, even if we had a mandatory,
I think that that's the right
and
answer.
we were, then would we, if we had a mandatory, would we be involved in the collection?
You'd have to.
We could be.
The
if it's
town would have to
ordered.
be the collection agency as well, the collecting body, to enforce it.
But other than taking a garbage can, you can't do anything really to them.
There's no
I mean,
teeth.
you'll see these collection reports, we turn a bunch of people over to
So
collections.
you turn them over to actual collections, it impacts their credit, but you can't get a lien on their property over it or anything like that, where you have a guaranteed right of recovery later.
Well, it would cost the town more to do that than they would come out by collecting it, wouldn't it?
It could, depend, how many residents do we have now?
She's billing 198 bills.
I mean, y'all pretty stretched already, aren't you, as far as day-to-day tasks and.
I don't want to be the collection agent.
Well,
But let me look closer at the legal issues and get you that answer for sure.
yeah. When we say we're the collection agent, it only means that they've got to bring their bill to us or make it to us, something like that. It don't mean we will go out and knock on doors and literally collect it.
Yes, or just send letters.
It's just that we'll be, what it will amount to, if I'm with you, is that we will be sending 2 bills. We would be sending 2 bills, one for water,
Mhm.
one for garbage.
You could see
If
it
we
on-
don't do it, and these two don't pay, then that opens the gate for us to start having everybody in here not paying.
That's right, that's what that'll happen, I'll tell you that right now, it's happen.
And some of them drive from here to Campbellton just to say they hadn't been made to use the service,
Yeah.
that Liberty thing, rebellious thing, but then some of them drive up there on the back of my house on that wooded lot, throw the garbage out, that's, maybe not this close in, but they gonna drive to somebody else's wooded lot and throw it out. Probably if I'm gonna pay for a service, then I'm gonna use it.
And we can, by all means, we can send them collection letters, but every month the bill gets higher and higher and higher and higher.
You don't see any way we can collect this.
To tie it to the water service, an existing bill, absent an ordinance, I don't think we can. I don't think we have any authority to do that. We don't have any kind of administrative procedure or rule to that effect that's ever been provided to residents, correct?
Not in a standalone document or anything, I don't think. I think that's come in, we say your water bill and your garbage bill, and we'll do that kind of thing.
Yes, sir. think without prior notice, I just don't think that'll hold up. If somebody, now what's the likelihood that they're gonna hire an attorney, file a lawsuit and all that? That's extremely low, I would say, over a couple $100, right? Given what it would cost them to do that. But I think the technical answer is you can't do it.
Yeah. In another setting with other attorneys, one of the arguments was, we did provide the service, you didn't avail yourself to it. So once we picked that garbage can up, we quit providing the service.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with after us picking the.
That was
can.
part of what Ms.
Yeah, I don't
Goffin
have
discussed.
I don't have a problem with the bill stopping there unless we can, until and unless we can find a avenue for it to start back, but I think Mr. Carter said to us that not only do we really need to stop that there, we probably don't have much standing in trying to collect the $200 and the, whatever the other one was.
I think you just have to send those to collections, and then promulgate a new rule and try to enforce that. And then the next step, if you wanted to, would be to pass an ordinance, which I'd be happy to draft and see if it stood up. A lot of folks just take the law as what it is as they read it, and accept the threat and abide by it.
Yeah. I think this is the first time I've ever heard this even mentioned or considered anything. I think everybody thinks
And why
that we're
would
doing it right
I
and that they have to pay. I think that's what I think.
And in a lot of areas, you know, that it's included in your property taxes and that kind of thing. If you don't avail yourself of it, that's on you, like you mentioned earlier. You're paying for it anyway, but that's a totally different scenario there.
Are you familiar with our contract with Westminster that says that we'll do the collecting and things like that, at least passingly familiar? So knowing our contract with them and knowing the situation with the people, what's our cleanest, easiest, enforced way of?
Turn them over to collections.
Okay.
Right now, as far as an immediate action.
Okay.
Going forward to address it, we could try, and I would suggest putting a notice out of a new rule. If you don't pay your bill, we're going to enforce it through cutting your water off, and then pass an ordinance at the same time. All right, when I say a notice, let them know that it's coming so that they have prior notice of it. And then once it's enacted, when y'all have voted on it twice, and advertised it, then send them the actual notice that it's in effect. And it may get challenged, it may not. I couldn't say.
Yeah. And some of you may know, in larger municipalities, I'm almost sure that in Bay County we do, no we don't, not in the unincorporated, but you have like a utilities department, which could be water, lights, solid waste, all up together.
Yes, sir.
So you're saying we need to create a utility department or something and then put water and solid waste together.
I'm trying to think of smaller towns that do it that way. Blountstown does it that way. You know, they provide electric, water, sewer. It's kind of unusual for a town that size. I mean, they provide the same services that almost a Tallahassee does.
Wow.
I don't know, that might be an overstatement, but a lot. They do a lot for 2,300 residents.
I don't see us ever doing electric, but you know, we're always have for a number of years, people that, if we had sewer, we can get an industry, or we have sewer, and we can't do that because we're a community of largely retired folks and we can't afford sewer rates. But any other utility that we provide in the future, if we do this now, we can just make it.
You lump it all together.
Lump it all together and have some other council won't have to come back and address it after we're not here.
I think you do it that way.
Okay. What do you think, council?
If Ms. Gothard can handle it on the administrative side.
Well,
You
you
need
make
two
people
of them.
know when they move in here, they got a garbage bill to pay,
Yeah.
the water bill to pay.
I think that's what we're doing now. You garbaging the water and register dogs and cats, which is.
And if you let one person start not paying their garbage bill, it's gonna go back to the old way where nobody's gonna pay.
That's exactly right. If you get this started, it's gonna travel all around Wausau, I'm gonna tell you. Use
Fast.
travel, fast, it does. And, so, you know,
So
So on this particular thing, we were asking, do you want to do the adjustment for the 4360, which is the 2 months that we picked up the can? And then I need to know, do you want me to take the can back? We're gonna force him to pay. The first one was 4360, that's the 2 months where we picked up the can. The very first one.
I had my finger on that just a minute ago. The first one was, and the other one was what, 65, 40?
Yes, that one was 6540. And we still have the cans. So we did not charge him for January because we still have the cans.
So they hadn't had a garbage can for 2 months, is that what you said?
3 months now,
3
we're
months.
into January.
Oh, January, 3 months.
And the other one is 4 months, or?
Right, the other one we didn't
One
charge.
was 2 and 3, and now it's 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's 3 and 4.
Okay, I think with the can wasn't there, we can't, I agree with you, the can wasn't there, I don't think we might could charge.
We might can tell him that, but he can come back and we'll be in the
If we-
blame for it, I mean.
If we put the can back, we're going to just let the bill start growing again if they choose not to pay. But if we get into collections, then maybe we can collect it all, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we want to put the cans back until we settle the collection issue or not. We may want to make sure we can collect, and then we'll start with these customers a new day. We can collect, and here's your garbage can back, and your bill starts over.
We sure don't want to get that started around Wausau now, I'll tell you, I mean, just on, you know, it's,
Yeah, where does that put us with our contract with Waste Management? If we start letting people go not pay.
Contract is just that Waste Management is the only company that deals with the trash. It's not mandatory on town's residents by contract.
I'm talking about our collections, so we are the collecting agent for them, and we send them one check. So if we start letting people drop out, and their bill goes down.
But if you're not, it's not, if you're not collecting the money and then keeping it, I think that's the main issue. Whatever money you collect gets remitted to them, but they can't force you to, I mean, you can't get blood from a turnip contractually. If it's impossible, then they can't enforce that contractual provision against the town.
And we collect we pay Waste Management in bulk. We pay them for 175 cans. So when I talked to the Waste Management guy, he said, you can reduce it down anytime you want to. You can take it down, you can take it up, you can get more cans, you can take less cans. We pay them for 175 cans, and we can do with them whatever we want. We can put all 175 up and down the street. They don't care. But every month they bill us for 175 cans that we pay the bill.
so what is that, I know you can't probably don't have it on your head, in your head, but that's so much for a can, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So,
And then you and Marcia has to make sure that one of those 175 cans belongs to me. I
The
get a
town,
bill- I
yes.
get a bill for it.
the town does, yes,
So-
yes. Waste Management doesn't care what we do with them. I mean, like, when I was talking to him, he said, you can line them up and down 77 on both sides if you want to. We don't care. That's not our business. We're just renting you 175 cans. And you do with them what you want.
I've got it in here somewhere because Lynn emailed it to me about 3 weeks ago. Now I can't find it. My emails are stacked up.
So as customers come, if they don't want garbage, we can reduce the number of cans that we're getting from Waste Management. We can increase if we have new customers come in.
Do we get an administrative fee or anything for handling that money?
Only,
We don't.
only the
So it's
increase
not
of what
going
we're
to impact-
charged.
It's not going to impact the city's budget.
No, as long as we reduce the bill at Waste Management, it won't. So if I go to Waste Management and say, I've got 5 customers that don't want your garbage, they'll bill us for 170, and we'll bill that out to 170 customers.
Okay, I was thinking that we had, these options on,
Yep.
we'll get to them in a minute,
Yeah,
but
this should be the back of the same
they
section.
was charging us like $7 and a quarter, and we was charging $7.50 or something like that, so we are making,
$4 or $5 off. The big cans, we're paying $16.97 to them, and we're charging $21.80.
so we're making about $4 a can.
Mm-hmm.
Have 175 cans, that's gonna be $600 a month. That's gonna cost us.
Mhm.
That's gonna be $7,200 a year. So I'm not sure that I start telling them that, when they come in and sign up, all I got said, now, you'll get your bill once a month, and it will include garbage and, water, and here's a garbage can.
And that's what we do.
Until,
That's what we do.
Well, how does other people do it, like Chickley? Other Vernon towns around here, how do they do it? Do they have they come up with the same problem we got tonight?
Caribou uses their own, they got their own, it's different, Caribou's different.
yeah,
They pick up their own garbage, I know.
We live in the
Now,
city
I
limits.
don't know.
We live in the city limits of Chipley, and we pay the city.
you pay the
for
city
garbage
for
pickup.
garbage.
Yes.
You paid it, okay.
If you don't pay it,
It's lumped, and I believe it's part of our water bill. It's itemized, but it comes on the same bill. Water, sewer, and garbage pickup.
I don't see anything in this contract about, it's just exclusive as to waste management in the town.
if I remember, it actually cost us people less because we were doing one collection for them and submit, they're not having to do the billing.
Right.
That's why we get the $4 or something.
Right.
Okay, where do we go from here? Open to any suggestion. Okay,
There's no way, we can't force them to have a garbage can.
Mr. Carter thinks now we can't.
No, ma'am, there's no ordinance that requires it, there's no rule, no administrative procedure. This contract with Waste Management that I found, I'm looking at, it doesn't provide for anything like that. It's just that Waste Management is our exclusive disposal service, so to speak, that we can't use another waste collection company.
Can we make an ordinance? That when you move into the city of Wausau and you get water,
Yes, ma'am.
you're gonna have garbage.
That's what we're talking about, but it may not survive a challenge if somebody wanted to, if you find somebody or turn their water off because they didn't pay for the garbage, they could turn around and sue the city to challenge the constitutionality of that ordinance. That's a very low likelihood, I just have to let you know that it's a possibility. I think most folks will just go along with it, and it may even be constitutional, and I may have it wrong, but we can't do it without an existing rule in the form of an ordinance. We can't just do it because, we decide to tonight, or y'all decide to. rather.
Are these renters or property owners? Because if it's rental property, we can put it in here, can't we?
I'm not sure.
And once that property owner gets a collection notice, he or she may,
I don't think that's gonna make a difference. No, sir.
you're not helping me there.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm trying to give you the response.
We might,
You're not doing any favors, Mr. Carter.
We don't have any customers really arguing about garbage other than about 3 people. I mean, I've got the second one here, it said that they will not pay for garbage. They don't need it, they don't want it, they're not gonna pay for garbage on this second one.
Does she have a can?
No, we picked hers up also.
Suppose we do this. Suppose we suspend the bills at whatever point we pick up the cans.
Right.
We ask Mr. Carter to draft an ordinance that creates a utility district or what the legal terms are. That would include the water and garbage now, and the part of there maybe says future municipal services or something like that. If we can do it that way, if we can't, let's deal with what we're dealing with. And that we try that. In the meantime, let's ask the clerk to turn these over to collection.
Okay.
See who responds, but yeah, see what happens. And about the time or just before Mr. Carter has the ordinances ready, we'll send out a notice saying, we're gonna have a public hearing on an ordinance that impacts the collect, we ain't gonna, we can write at it, Dana. We're not going to say that we just want to say that we're going to have a public hearing to adopt an ordinance that clarifies and unifies municipal service collection, or municipal service or something like that. Am I going too fast?
Oh, no, sir, no, sir, I'm right there with you.
Okay. What do y'all think about that?
Are we gonna make it mandatory if you get water from Wausau, you're gonna get a garbage can?
That's what this will do if we do that.
Well, I think we should do that.
Okay?
Do you make a motion?
If it's ready, I will.
Okay, so what Mr. Hagan was saying, that we would suspend these two people's water bills from the time we picked up the can. That's what we're,
Right,
and we will turn these two customers over to collections.
right.
Got it, okay? So is that the motion to come for, or something more than that?
But
That's not the motion.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the whole, yeah,
Okay.
that's just part of it. The whole thing is to do that.
Okay.
And Mr. Carter's gonna create us an ordinance that makes us be able to come back and make it mandatory. At this point in time, I would not forgive those bills that are unpaid. We're gonna send them to collection. We can do anything with them to see what collection does, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can collect, we need to collect.
Okay. Got it.
Is that everything I said?
Got it.
Okay. Is that your motion, Mr. Carter, then?
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? The chair votes yes. Mr. Fortunato?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Okay. So right behind those two bills, also, we have to set the water rates the garbage rates for 2024. We've given you some ideas. Currently, we're being charged $16.97 for the garbage, the one garbage can, $16.97. That was a 5.39% increase. Our old price was $21.80 for customers. If you want to increase that to the 5.39%, it will go up to $22.98. So this is under bill adjustment. We have a sheet if you want to look at it. If you want to leave it at $21.80, we'll still be a cut about $4 over. We can do that. If you want to increase it 5.5%, it would go to $23. And so I just gave you some ideas and some percentages, but we'll do whatever the council wants us to do. On the second cart price at the bottom, and we have about, I think she said about 30 customers that have two cans.
Wow.
The old price is $7.50 is what we're charging now. That has gone up to $7.64 with the new increase. And so we need to increase that. The 5.9% increase would take it to $8.05. So they would go from $7.50 to $8.05 on the second can. So with the, about the top one, with the 5.39% increase at $22.98, the town would be making about $6.01 off of each can. If we go to this one right here. If
we increase that, the same thing that our increase is.
Yes,
Can we go to that?
yes,
How often does the rates increase?
every year.
And, last year, what was the increase last year? Anybody?
I don't have the contract, I don't have the contract with me right here.
I think you gave us a CPI last month or something.
Yeah.
Something on there. I don't know. But it's based on the CPI.
Yeah, the Consumer Price Index.
It's a different price every year. And there has been years there was none. And I wonder would say theoretically, it should be reduced once in a while, but I don't think that ever happened. I don't recall us ever reducing, but there has been years where we didn't have any increases because of inflation or whatever, the CPI didn't change. And
Which one do y'all think we need to increase by?
5.39.
To 22.98.
there's only 2 cents difference between that and the next one, but that's the same percentage rate that they gave us. We're just passing along what they gave us if we do that.
Right,
Okay,
we do
probably
what's minimum,
Do wasn't it?
because if you do the 5.5% and increase it on the 2%, they're gonna complain
The same 2 cent.
over that 2
The
cents.
same 2 cent.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's keep the,
And also the 5.39 at the bottom.
On the second one, tell me about, what's the second card cost now?
They're gonna charge us $764,
Uh-huh.
Waste Management. We're charging customers $750, which was the old rate. So it'll go up to $805.
Well, that sounds good.
So what are they charging us now?
It was $715 or something like that.
So they're gonna go up above what we're charging?
Yes.
So we need to go up enough to stay,
You're going to $764.
okay,
So that will be 41 cents.
okay. Do the 5.39 for both things? Okay. Motion? Is that motion?
Yes, I
Okay.
like that.
Okay, we have a motion, did we do the 5.39, increase, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion on the motion? How you vote, Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
The next thing under the insurance tab is looking at the budget and look at, do you want to do some,
Yeah.
For-
Let me interrupt again, because that's gonna take some discussion.
Okay.
There. We can go ahead and let John bring us up, he may also want to go somewhere, like Hall went to bed, or. Tell us a lot of cheerful news now,
Well, I'll tell you, I am going somewhere. I'm going to Hawaii.
Wow.
Not leaving till tomorrow, so, wife's home packing. She's texting me, said, "You coming to help me?" I said, "Well, you may have this one on your own tonight."
We might be paying him more than I thought we were.
So some good news is survey on all the projects, the Jefferson Jackson, the Second Avenue drainage, and the park has all been completed. There were some issues, in scheduling some surveys. Survey guys across the board were backed up. Ours included, firm in Marion, I can't think of their name, Snell Grove. We try to reach out to them to see if they might be quicker. But anyway, survey is now complete. So hopefully by this time, meeting next month, I don't remember the date, the 15th, I think it is. Hopefully by then, I'll have a set of plans on the roadway, Jefferson and Jackson, to submit to DOT at that time. They require 6% set of plans to be submitted, and we will have those by that date. And then soon after that, we should have 90% and 100% to bid that out. That's still on course. The Second Avenue and the park improvements, the water pump with associated yard piping to the raised water tower. That one has, and Lynn, you may not be caught up, that one kind of took some time, and the reason being is we wrote a contract that you guys approved. It was approved by me. We signed it, you signed it, sent it to DEO, which is now Florida Commerce, it's not DEO anymore. And they sent back different numbers than what we had approved, which were under the requirement. It was not like I was asking for a too high of a percentage. I mean, it was within the reasoning of what is allowed for design engineers to get. And they changed it for some reason. I said, I can't do it for that. And I know it was maybe 5,000 less on one, and some, I don't remember the exact number, because like there's no way we can do it. We got to fix this. So that's what took some time on that, which they fixed. Those contracts are now right. And we've already done, I've got hydraulic analysis running on Second Avenue drainage right now to see what size box culvert is needed there. So that one should be another one that is a quick turnaround now that we can finally go forward. Cora Lane and, forgive me the other one, I can't remember, Cora and, oh, yes, sir. Those two, if I'm not mistaken, are still in the environmental review. I don't know if you guys know a lot about environmental reviews. Mr. Mayor, you probably do, being with the county. Used to. Those took 3 months. Well, now they're taking 12 months. That's the document that you turn in that the state, I don't know what takes so long. I wish I did. I've been in an environmental review for a project in Graceville now going on 11 months. And I can't get approval. I can't get the go ahead. If I'm not mistaken, that's where we're at. I need to contact, Fred Fox and just see again. I should have before this meeting and didn't, but I will before the next one. And if there's movement can be made, we'll get survey done and get that one going as well. We're not even under contract for that one. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think Owen and Core have even been put out for a contract yet. And I don't. Again, with Miss Lynn taking over, that's something that you and I may need to just sit down and have a conversation. That is an option. Other than that, unless there's questions, that's really my update for now. And I understand too on Jefferson and Jackson, tying it down to the road, if that's an option, I'm aware of what the city or the town wishes. Whether they let that happen is not on me. I'll try. I'll do my best. Matter of fact, I've brought that up to them. Haven't got an answer yet, but I will. I'll get a yes or a no. Whether if it's a no, and that's fine. But I need to know how to proceed with what y'all wish.
Actually, the environmental review on Owen and Cora, the next step's surveyor, is that right?
Well, next step would be to get under contract at whatever design firm you wish. Get under contract, get survey, and start designing it. Yes, sir.
On Jefferson and Jackson now, and survey's done, and we know where the right of way is.
Yes,
the roads are about that wide. Are we going to have a road about that wide when we get through, or are we going to?
So that's a resurfacing job. You'll have what's there. You'll definitely get back. We're not widening it. We don't have the money to widen it. That was never in the grant that Cliff wrote. And I don't remember when he wrote that grant, when y'all got that funding, but it's been some time that he wrote that. So what's there is what you're going to get. If it's 20 foot wide now, you're going to get 20 feet. I don't know the exact thing. I think it's right at 20 in some places, 18 in other places.
Jefferson is hard to pass 2 cars, and along this part of Jackson.
I would, this is me looking at it, I would not put, I would put it double yellow or single yellow down the middle with edge striping. I would not allow passing.
He meant like.
To meet each other.
Yeah, I was thinking passing lane. I would not do that, but if that's what y'all want, we can engineer it maybe.
Anybody that needs to pass on these roads needs to be somewhere else before they started.
But I'm with you.
And the new announcement that has been made,
That's another one that's gonna have to go in environmental review. Since that is CDBG and that's awarded through DEO or Florida Commerce now, that's gonna be another one that's gonna, I help Miss Margaret and I think I met you out there. We got that ran in with Fred Fox, got a cost estimate together and submitted that. That's gonna be a process. They all are. All the CDBG projects would just seem like they take, from when you found out Friday that you, and I guess the town knows now that you received funding on Roger Square to update the little building there in that little park community area. It seems like all of those are about a 1.5 year turnaround, maybe even 2 years.
the first call I got yesterday before breakfast was from some of the Rogers family. They had heard it before we did, even the Jackson County radio station or somebody read governor's news release to.
I think, like you said, I think, and not that it matters here, but Graceville did get one.
Calhoun County.
I think Calhoun County, I know you cover Bluntstown. I think Calhoun, one of their parks got some funding. It was 5 or 6, you know, I think they totaled
Yeah.
600,000-700,000 apiece.
Some place around either San Augustine or Gainesville, or there was another small, out of the Panhandle.
Right.
Another small one.
But it was good. I think that's a building that I saw that needed some repairs, and I think will look good when it's all said and done and be a
But it'd be
pretty
fair to
sight.
say that on almost any of these things, that the environmental review is the longest leg of almost anything we do.
Again, I may even lean on Jeff a little bit. Jeff's probably seen this in some other communities he covers.
Super long.
It takes forever.
Bad.
And used to, they didn't. I mean, when I started, and I was a very young engineer a few years ago, when I started, they took 3 months. They were quick. They were not this long. But, and this is my personal belief, and off the record, I know maybe we're getting recorded, but I think when COVID hit, a lot of folks that knew what they were doing just said, hey, I'm not working from home, I'm retired. Folks had to fill in, and they're learning as they go. And now with Hurricane Michael and COVID and all these CDBG monies that have so many projects, it's just backed up. I mean, it's just
I agree with that.
it's a get in line and wait. It's not a place I like to be in of just projects hanging out. One reason being is materials. The cost of materials always seems to be rising. But it's kind of the world we are in at the moment.
Cost changes quickly over time anymore,
Yeah.
especially since the storm. We
That's-
had that once now with a splash pad. It took 3 years to get that thing done.
It teaches you a lot of patience, Tom.
And on the splash pad, that was one
Yes, sir.
that we did. Dewberry did that one, and it was a $50,000 grant they thought they were going to be able to do, and they ended up doing it for $150,000 roughly. And that's material costs. I think they plan on putting some in. I know they got $50,000 from the state. Maybe they had some they were going to add. I don't know, but I think it ended up being more than what they definitely was more than what they wanted to pay.
It took us over a year, probably close to a year and a half to open a bar pit one time. We had to, ever good for that ever walked across there, we had to track him down and pick him up and take him to Bristol or something, all kinds of things.
But on a few of the projects now, Second Avenue, Jefferson, Jackson, I've got surveyed back. I've got sheets being set up and with my CAD guys. And as soon as I can get a hard copy, I'll be here marking up your turnouts, your pipes, and should get something turned back to DOT quickly.
Will you be, who are we gonna have, will you be if there's a conflict between our work that's going on our streets and the work that's going on 77, will you be our person that helps resolve that? Well, I can see with all this coming at one time, it's their job, and they spilled this asphalt or they did something else.
If Lynn and Miss Lynn would work together, I mean, if something comes up, yes, I mean, I will help even if it's not on my job. If you need help from an engineer standpoint, if you'll call me, I can come up here and look at whatever.
Yeah.
I can look at the as-built for metric. I mean, I can help with anything. I would like to see the as-built manufactured on the pipes that Metric did, just because I'm curious now, where's it going? Where's it coming from? It's gotta come back to somewhere. It's gotta come back to a source that's got water.
When you get back from Hawaii, you'll show those plans.
Send them to me tomorrow. I'm not
gonna
leaving
text
until
it to
Thursday
you.
morning. So yeah, send them to me. I'll have my tablet right here. I'll have my tablet with me so I'll be semi-working.
Yeah.
So.
Well, enjoy your time with them.
I will. I want to add one thing. There is, it's scrap season again. We rode, I'm sorry. I guess I wasn't prepared. I guess I had Hawaii on my brain and not the meeting tonight. We wrote a grant. I want to say it was 4th Avenue. And there was another road. Do y'all remember what we did last year? Does 4th sound right?
4th is going.
It was.
We did that going east.
I know what it was. It was 4th and 2nd.
That's probably right. 4th going west.
That's right. And 2nd.
Of course, that's only about a block wide now.
It was not long. Yeah,
it's only about a block wide unless we're going to pave where it goes into Monroe.
And I got time. I can.
2nd is right here in front of the Right here in front of it.
Town
No,
hall.
right
Right
here,
there, yeah.
right here.
Yeah, I think it was second from
There to Pioneer.
Pioneer.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
I think, but what I'll do is I will get my entire application that I submitted last year, get that to you tomorrow,
okay.
and at the next meeting, present something. We do need to adopt a resolution by the next meeting, so,
And for your narrative on Second Street, you can say, we've just done this with the drainage.
Right.
This complements and completes the whole.
yes, yeah,
Thing.
we'll tie back into what we complete, and heck, it'd be also, it won't happen, but if they funded it and got it quickly, do those simultaneously, but we'll have the box culvert in place way before this is even awarded.
Okay.
Since it'll be a year before we know about these projects. But that's what I'll do. I will find out what I did last year, get that to you tomorrow. And I think fourth and second is correct.
Okay.
So we'll just need to adopt the new resolution if that's the wishes of the town on those two roads or whatever. Need to adopt a resolution, get that submitted.
Has our desires changed, or are those still the roads we want to do?
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anybody have a question for Mr. Sims? Thank you, sir. Thank you for being patient till we got down to you. And enjoy your trip.
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Yeah, call me, Miss Lynn, tomorrow and send me those as-bills or whatever.
Okay.
We'll get with you. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Insurance.
The next thing I had here was just some, I gave you the insurance property schedule on our coverage that we have. This is the insurance that went from 30-something thousand to right at 60,000. I highlighted some ideas of some things that we could take off to reduce the rates. But it's totally up to the council what they want to do. Knowing that we've got the Rogers Square now at 600,000, that, you know, at some point we're gonna have to insure that. This is taking the Collins house off behind us because we're probably a year or so out before we're gonna build that, but I think we need to have a budget meeting of some kind where we can look at what we have and what we're gonna do. And along with this, we had talked a little bit about the CD, about cashing in one of the CDs to pay the premium that's due now, which is $14,000. The two CDs both come, we can renew them in May. With a letter, we can go ahead and cash them in if we need one or the other. And there's a $9,000 one and a $4,000 CD at Community South. I'm sorry, Capital City.
The stuff that you gave us here with the insurance, that's the value. You don't have a premium breakdown in place on these, do you? If we had a workshop though, you could give a
Yes.
premium on those, I
Yes,
think.
yes. I did speak to the insurance agent. He said we cannot reduce the coverage because I was wondering if maybe we could lower the coverage on some of the buildings. But he said that they won't let us do that. We'd have to take them off or leave them on. So, and this is all on property insurance. But
Now, this is the FMIT. Are there other insurers out there that we could shop our business with?
yeah, Marcy has hers through Farm Bureau, and she's reached out to them to see if they do anything like this. And we haven't heard back from them yet.
We had to, with the church mutual was not writing wind anymore for them. We had to reach out, Mr. Rogers, I got him because I have my insurance with him now. Our other insurance company moved out of town, and we were with Mr. Rogers there doing some search there. So we got to achieve this in the insurance business anymore. Safe Harbor and Rogers is all I know, right there.
You got Allstate, Progressive,
Who? Allstate?
Allstate, Progressive.
Yeah.
Who are we with now, Mayor?
Florida Municipal Insurance Trust.
There's the Tidget, the Preferred Government Insurance Trust is another one similar to them.
What's it called, Preferred?
They have slightly different rates and deals. I mean, it's very similar, but just as an option to check with. I know Lynn Haven had them after the storm, and they're problematic on that windstorm coverage. But I think a lot of that was due to the malfeasance, I'll say, that was going on.
Could you check as many, and certainly that sounds like a good one, this municipal, and municipal experience, could you check and also bring us some of that? What do we think about needing to get together on a workshop or something and look at what premiums are on what's building and see if we want to drop that building or something like that? I see a few on there that, I don't know, maybe like the dugouts, they're good over there, but,
You're gonna have to insure the dugouts and the ball fields, aren't you?
Well, this is just the property. I think this is just if the dugouts are destroyed, we can rebuild. Yeah, this is all just property.
You're talking about the liability.
Yeah, the liability, I didn't even look at, the liability wasn't that much, he said. And then we can also save some, right now we have a 5% deductible on named storms. He said if we go up to the 10% deductible on named storms, that will save us about $7,000. So, taking these highlighted yellow ones off, it'll be about a $10,675 decrease on the premium. But you're uninsured.
and you're only looking at the highlighted ones as
Right.
possible takeoff, so we just need the others. They're not on the table.
Right.
Okay.
And we can do all of them, none of them, whatever the council wants to do, depending on how much you want to reduce the premium. The premium is due now for January, February, March. So it's something that I need to get paid now. And the end of March, they'll bill us again another $14,000 for April, May, and June. So we got about a month or a couple of months before we have to, if we want to do anything, if we want to try to cut some expenses in some other areas and keep the insurance the way it is. Whatever y'all. So it's not something that's got to be decided tonight. I just gave you some ideas after talking to the agent. Some of the ways we could do it. Of course, he doesn't recommend deleting coverage. You know, he's in the insurance business, but he does not recommend deleting coverage on any buildings.
Naturally, he would be that way if he's in the insurance.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
that's assured, you know.
Yeah. If we're going to keep the $60,000 premium, we're going to have to figure out some way in the budget to work it out, to get the premium paid.
Well, I'll just say this, I'm gonna quit talking, I've been talking too much. But you take that old farmhouse out there, okay, just give you a good example. Chances of something happening to hit in a storm or a hurricane is probably 5% or 2% ever happening to that. And if you could, you could decrease some of the coverage and save the town some money. I ain't said it won't happen, because anything can happen, but we all gamble to a certain extent. You gotta take some risk. And you call it gambling or risk, or what you wanna call it, it's still the same. There's some buildings, if something happened to them, the community could get together and do it. I mean, instead of paying insurance company, they all wealthy. I mean, insurance companies, if they ain't, they're nothing to buy them out, and they'll still be wealthy. I mean, that's just the way it works. I mean,
Just the way it is.
Yeah.
but I'm gonna be quiet.
If that one was gone, would we miss it? And if the answer to that is no, then why are we insured it?
What?
Using your illustration of this old building out here,
Yeah,
if it was gone, we'd pick up scrap and clean off the lot.
that's exactly right.
And
I mean,
so on, so.
yeah, that's exactly right. I mean,
And
what?
some of these little outbuildings, like the one that's over the splash pad pump, we could get our build a pump house as big as that right there. And there's some places, there may be some things that we can let go. I never heard of not being able to reduce insurance.
I ain't
He
neither.
said no. Because I was thinking on the coverage, because it was like, well, some of these are it's pretty high, I thought. I mean, I don't know, but
We got $7 million worth of property there. You might buy the whole town for $7 million.
A private matter between the town and the company, it's just a contract.
And
I'm not
I did
familiar with
ask,
that either.
yeah, I did ask him about the
I'll
increase
look.
in rates. He said some of the buildings did go up some, but the big thing was the fire station, because they valued it at $1,698,000.
Now, this is the old fire station, and I'm assuming that's what,
Yeah, this one right
John and
here.
I are talking about. It's valued at $230,000. I don't know who their property appraiser is.
The old fire station?
This one right up here.
Yeah, that's a
Not
bunch of
worth that.
junk.
$250,000.
No.
We can talk that one, definitely.
Do we need to have a workshop to figure out what we're gonna do with all this?
Yeah.
He good.
Can we let you research as much with these new companies and see if anybody wants to come talk to us and solicit our business and like that before we get this, because
Sure.
this is already out there costing us, and we're gonna have to do something with it, whether we do that or something like that. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Could you let us know when you've got that and
I agree with that. If I were on the commission, that's, for the council, it's, I mean, it's like putting full coverage on my $5,000 Suburban out there. It doesn't make any sense. If I wreck it, it's gonna cost way more than what it's worth to fix it.
and you did, by the time you pay your deductibles out on some of it,
Yes, sir.
you'll be upside down bad.
That's a real bad, that's right.
Is that all right with everybody if she checks half a dozen companies or whatever she can find and find out what she, just give us something and set a date and then come back? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Is that all right, Judy? Bill? Yeah. Okay. All right, let's do that.
Okay. The next thing is the maintenance position. I put in there, I got about 13 applications. I tried to narrow them down to 4 or 5 for you, to see which ones you want. The Lawton Everett, I think, put him in some of them. He's not interested anymore. So if your book has Lawton Everett Brown, he's no longer interested.
We'll just pull him out.
Yes, pull him out.
I do the same way.
The rest of them, everybody that applied, I called and spoke to them just to make sure they knew that this was a water maintenance job, that it would include some occasional calling, that it might include getting dirty and working in the water. And so I think 2 of them, the original ones, said they weren't interested in that. They thought it was more like lawn maintenance. And so these were the ones that were left. I spoke to all these, explained it to them, and all of them were very interested in working for the town.
These different looking applications, that's from the,
Those were
that's
from
the Indeed.
Indeed.
Response,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, Indeed. The one like Brown, he's actually came in and filled his out. I don't know if y'all want to interview them all, if you want me to try to narrow it down more.
Well, I've looked at it, and I'm gonna tell you, I went from one to the other, it's kind of hard to tell if every one of them got every qualification they say they got here. I wonder where these people's been all this time we've been looking for somebody.
Well, all of them got them good qualifications for
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Well,
One of the things that I never remember the council doing, and I don't know that the county still does, but we started this one time, was we'd get these people to come in and we'd watch them operate a backhoe or a tractor or equipment or something like that to see. That may be something we might want to think about too, see if they come in and move something around on the yard out there, or take them to a water problem or something. Of course, we don't always have a water problem either to take them to.
but I noticed on them outs, this is a question now, attorney's hearing. And I know there's no age, you can't mention age, but I don't see no ages on this. You can't mention that, can you? That's against the So, yeah, okay, gotcha.
I mean, we get their date of birth, but we can't make an issue out of it.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you're right.
I think there's 5 in here. I can try to narrow them down to 3, or we can set up interviews for all 5 if y'all want to do that.
We have to interview all of them, don't we?
If they're in here, I'd be willing to do that.
If it's just 5, let's
If
just
they
do
were,
an
they
interview.
were gonna be, they just gonna be 3 little supers, you just had 3, but if we got 5. Yeah, I don't recognize, up front, I tell you, I don't recognize any of these names. Does
I don't
anybody-
either.
Does anybody know anybody?
Oh, no.
Okay, so that's gonna be good for us. We're gonna go in not having, that's good.
We do have some others that apply if y'all want to look at them, but I didn't put them in here. And when I called them, there was one thing or another that didn't really fit their job description, but I'm happy for y'all to come look at them if you want to.
When do we need to interview? Here's another thing. Now, we have probably, Tim's been gone since November, I believe. We've probably saved $4,000 or $5,000 in salary right there. Now, before daylight in the morning, we may need 6, just like him being here doing something out of it, you know. Do we have, we was talking about it even before Margaret left, I think about having some people on a standby list or a calling list. Do we have enough people that we could call in that's got enough experience that could help us out? Broken lines, down pump. Of course, if the pump and all that, that's down Mr. Brisher's going to have to be here. He probably has some folks that we could call. City of Chipley may come help us. Different ones over the years have said they would. Mr. Cook from Varnum did, Mr. Weasley from Sunny Hills. They've all said, if I can pick, I can pick you. But it wasn't 26 degrees when they were telling us that either.
I feel good that we're in good shape until we can get a maintenance guy. With the volunteer groups that have come in, our backflow preventer froze over the last weekend. I had all the water running, but I didn't think about the backflow preventer. Mr. Register called a guy in Chipley, and he came down and he's gonna fix it for us. Rural Water has been sending somebody over to do our line locates for us. So I've just been kind of reaching out to people that would do stuff for free for us. And we've been able to meet everything we've needed, as long as that Highway 77 project, they won't do anything crazy out there. I think we're good for now.
So everything is working good. Well, you know, you can't, but I just,
But we do have a responsibility, so we need our own person. But
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see when, if we have that workshop and then this workshop, or we're gonna do this, if we put this off another month and want to interview them, or we're gonna have two special meetings, or
Can you interview during the workshop, or does that have to be in the meeting?
we can have a workshop to interview, I think. Yeah, we can't hire unless we're in business session, but we can do an interview and then.
well, that'd be good. To combine them if you could, is that what you're saying, Billy?
Yeah, we could
Yeah.
do insurance
If it's-
deal and.
Do a workshop followed by a special meeting.
Okay.
Even do that, you know.
We could do the insurance deal and do the interviews in one workshop, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Well, we can, but it's 6:45 now, we hadn't done anything except routine business tonight. We can do, when we get into that budget, and we start scratching our head and foaming at the mouth and so on, that may be a long one just within itself.
Maybe.
We start interviewing people and the questions begin to get more and more and more and more. It can be a long one with itself too. And I don't know if I have, you know, if I prefer a long one over 2 short ones, it'd be, you know, but, it goes with the territory. Y'all like one meeting better? Do them combined?
I'm just one now, I'm one person.
Yeah, but you like it combined, you,
It don't matter to me.
I'm like you, on the budget, it's gonna take a while.
you know, I'm wondering, are we gonna be able to change gears with our mind quick enough to leave one thing and pick up on the other and be effective with it?
Let's do the budget and then
By
schedule
itself.
another
Yeah,
one for the
okay,
insurance.
that'd be good.
How about that?
Have a long one and a short one.
Yeah.
Well, the budget is gonna be more critical to us.
Mm-hmm.
The
We can
budget-
have it first.
Yeah,
Okay.
we could
Sounds
probably,
good.
Mr. Carter, could we, you know what? No, it have to be, could we contract our maintenance?
And not have an employee?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I'd honestly thought about that, getting somebody to do just the mowing in the summer.
Absolutely could.
Hire an individual to be kind of on call to do our water line locates.
have a contract for a base plus response.
And that would save the town money on insurance coverage too, I mean, for insurance coverage, I mean, health
It could,
insurance.
have that contractor be responsible for it. They're liable to pass that cost on to the town.
Oh, they would?
Yeah,
Okay,
Most
okay.
assuredly, yes, sir.
But it could still be listed, because they've probably got a group policy already on that. You know, some of these plumbing
Bid it
companies,
out and get a competitive bid.
yeah, some of these plumbing companies, they may just jump on doing our water stuff for us, and some of these lawn maintenance companies, they may just jump on the summer months and the mowing and things like
Well,
that.
they could.
You might even have an individual, not that I have anything to do with it, but like my father-in-law down in Calhoun County, he mowed some of the approaches up on I-10 and all that. Now that's with the state, but it's the same idea. If you knew an individual around here that had a tractor that was willing to do it,
Mhm,
or whatever equipment was necessary,
mhm.
that was dependable and bonded and all that stuff.
That may be the best route. Maybe the best route, too.
That's an interesting, I hadn't
Yeah.
thought about that.
And what, on the mowing thing, you could say, da-da-da-da-da-da, 5 times a year, 6 times a year,
That's exactly
6
right.
times between April and October. And then if we have, just before fun day and it's got higher than normally, we had rain, we could add that extra one on there or something like that. The contract, you could make the contract fit what we need.
Oh, sure, yes, sir. There's
Yeah.
gotta be somebody around here to be willing to do that. It seems like.
I think the mowing stuff would, we could do the cemetery in there, and
It sure get rid of a lot of headaches for the town with this maintenance
Yeah,
position.
it is, it sure
I
would.
know it's been a sticking point for y'all.
I can reach out and see if I can get some general prices of what it's generally going
yeah.
for the different areas before the budget workshop.
I don't know that it must be cheaper, but DOT don't have a lawnmower anymore. You know, we all grew up in old Jeeps and them old bat wing mowers, and mowing and everything like that. Everything they do is, the county, and the way they bid that is, they bid it by the acre. You got a right of way so long and so many miles, and you turn that into acreage, and they do it like that. I don't know, we do it that way, we just say so many streets, such time, something like that, but we wouldn't have any acres if we turned it into acres.
Well, you take now where I live, I'm gonna just say this, you know where I live. Okay, well, all of that, where I got all them, trees planted, see, I never have food with outside, but, and all the way around that block, and, sometimes it gets mowed, sometimes it don't. But I could do it myself if I know they wasn't gonna do it. I'm just saying that, I could handle that myself. But they said, oh, we'll get it, but it don't get done. And it looks bad, you know, but I can do it. I'd be willing to do it myself. If they just tell me, no, I ain't gonna do it, you know, I'd do it myself. I mean,
Well, what I think we would do is identify the streets, and say, take this one right here. We'll say mowing both sides of the right of way from 4th Avenue to Japan,
Pioneer.
Pioneer. Yeah, what about on the other side? It crosses Pioneer.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it turns into.
well, it'd be all of Jackson.
Glen, yeah, Jackson Street from 4th Avenue to Glen. Glen from Jackson to, we go through and identify every street and say, these are the streets, these are the mileage of the streets, mow both sides. Everyone we say, at least once a month, or,
Yeah, well, see, where I live now, I'm just talking about, and I know everybody's wanting to leave, but I'm just saying, last year, 2 times that was mowed, 2 times, all last year.
I know.
And, you know, I mean, 2 times now. And I ain't complaining, I'm just stating some facts, I mean, and I'd do it myself.
but just because you're the council person, you still are entitled to all the services that everybody else is, including mowing.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But I ain't gonna, I'm
Okay.
talking too much, go ahead.
No,
Roger,
I don't
I'm
think,
gonna let you handle
no, I
it.
don't think any of you are talking too much. I think we got to have multiple ideas. If we think there's any merit to that, would we make that a part of the workshop where we interview these people? Do we want to interview these people before we decide if we want to contract or?
That's a good question.
Who are we gonna get for the water problems we have?
Yep. Not
We
sure.
can get a lawn company to do the grass.
Yep.
But who would we get for the
Well,
water system?
you got places like, there's commercial installations like Middlebrooks, you got Davis and High Clement and some things like that. They could probably do all your meter installations, replacements, things like that, repairs and all like that. Because sometimes our repair people's just been all, his name's not Binky, but y'all know what I'm talking about. He comes out and digs a hole, Dion, they come out and dig a hole, get down there and put that pipe together. You know, just anybody with any, I'm not good with my hands, but just anybody with any kind of skills like that could do it. Now, what we can't do is a lot of this technical stuff with our wells and pumps and computer-oriented stuff and all like that, that's gonna still probably have to be Mr. Register or whomever replaced him at some point in time, but, some of this other stuff, we make it contracted out. And by being on contract, they don't have to be here every day. Well, back
As long as they got the
back
job
up.
done.
Yeah, I won't have to back up
Just
there
say
too, because
you
we
mow
don't
if the
have,
city wants them up.
we're gonna, I don't know what that does for building maintenance and painting and some things like that. It's an idea, let's just all think on it and bring it back. Can we do that for the sake of time tonight?
Sure.
It is an idea, it's not the idea, but it is one idea.
Okay.
Anybody else got anything on the interviews or the workshop or anything like that?
Are you gonna set dates, or what do you wanna do?
When you get this stuff back,
Okay.
give us a call, and we'll try to coordinate calendars. We will have to advertise it, but, or post it
Okay.
at least,
Okay.
okay?
The parade approval dates, I need a motion to have the Christmas parade on December 14th and the Fun Day parade on August the 3rd. We have to have that in the minutes to send to the DOT for the parade permits.
Okay. Chair would entertain a motion to, August the 3rd for parade and December the 14th. That's the same first Saturday and second Saturday that we've had for, okay? What's the pleasure?
I'll make the motion, we go ahead and do that.
Got a motion and a second, and, no, we don't have to, got a motion.
I second it.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion on the motion? Mr. Wolfson?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, the next thing is the amnesty dates for 2024. I just need to know if y'all still want us to have 4 that was in the contract. I'll bring those back in February,
Okay.
because we don't have those set yet. And one other thing, the Garden Club had wanted to know if they can get permission to refurbish the flower beds that's in front of the town hall and to refinish those benches that are sitting out there. They want to do that as a service.
Refurbish. And thank them. Thank them.
Okay. The CD cash-in that we talked about, we're gonna have to have at least one of the CDs to be able to pay the insurance premium for this month. There's a $9,000 one and a $4,000. I think if we can cash in the 9,000, I can come up with the 4,000. And then we can keep one of them, or we can cash them both in, whatever y'all want to do.
Well, I'll make a motion that you cash in the 9,000 if it's needed, and, I'll make that motion to do it.
Got a motion? And do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Chair votes yes. Mr. Walksnail?
Yes.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's all I had. Oh, the garden club did want me to tell you too, that they had planted 2 trees in 2 of the spots where the trees were dead.
Right.
As part of the National Tree Planting Day last week. They were gonna ask permission at the last meeting, but since we changed the dates, it was part of the National Tree Planting, so they did that.
Good. We talked about it last month, that they need to do something, so they helped us, that's good, okay? That's it?
Yeah.
Mr. Carter? Have anything additional?
No, sir.
Okay, Ms. Rattenberg's not here, Mr. Walksnail, anything additional?
No.
Mr. Carter?
I'm good.
I'm good. Mr. Carter?
All I had,
Smith property.
me and Ms. Gothard were gonna talk about that after. I'm happy to talk about it here. I know you and I discussed it on the phone already, and,
Yeah, do the survey.
yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
The issue was that apparently there's no prior survey, nobody can find a deed to that little triangle that we're talking about. But I think if you, and I could be wrong, I'm not a surveyor, but I think if you compare the surveys for their property and the city's triangle, the surveyor could come up with meets and bounds for it, but that the Smiths need to pay for that.
Yeah.
Per our conversation, if the city, the town's gonna give it to them. But the other things we discussed about it being under the dollar amount threshold and the lack of adjacent property owners who would have an interest that would need notice, none of that's at issue either.
Okay.
And the highest and best use for the property is for these folks. But it's up to the council, but if I were on the council, my opinion would be that they need to pay for the survey.
Yeah, and they're willing to.
Prepare all that. And I'm happy to prepare a deed for, the town to deed it over to them.
Okay. Do we have to declare surplus?
No, sir.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. We're good with, you would get with the Smith family and tell them to get a survey on it with a legal description and, okay?
I'll be happy to put that deed together. It won't take 15 minutes, once I have that description.
All right. Anything else for the council tonight?
I also put in your books the new regulations that on reporting your finances. It has to be done online this year, not with the supervisor elections office.
Excuse me.
And so each of you should have that. It looks,
Where's that
it's
at?
got the state seal on it. I think it's just laying in the front of your book. I mean, laying on top of the book.
I've got one of those. to the
So make
table.
sure y'all read that.
You
Yeah,
got
that,
that?
that's changing, unless that's already caused a bunch of folks to resign from councils and things like that.
Yeah, that's it right
I think
there.
two or
It's
three.
just like that.
Oh, the reporting.
Yeah. Look under
Yeah,
there.
some of them down south have filed a suit on that actually.
Here, give me this right here.
Check.
Well, I called our representative and asked him about it changing, he said, well,
It's more detailed
I
on
think
your finances
a lot
and your
further over there,
holdings. More detail
table
now.
or word,
They want
where you
to.
don't even, just let sunshine law, you don't abide by yourself.
Yes, sir.
I can take this with me.
Yes, yeah, I printed them out for y'all so you'd have them.
Yeah. Okay, we stand adjourned, thank you all.